What's up YouTube, it's PB. You might remember I used to do a YouTube channel called Life of a Jobbing Plumber. I'm back. Had a bit of a break, numerous reasons. Don't watch a lot of TV, but I found out that you can watch things like iPlayer and Netflix on an iPad. And I've literally hammered about, I don't know, 7 different series. I've done Luther, that was great. Line of Duty, that was awesome. Better Call Saul, I'd watched Breaking Bad before. Better Call Saul, that was good. Just loads of box sets, watched them all. When I should have been editing YouTube videos, but I needed a bit of a break from it. Editing these videos is like paperwork for me. Don't enjoy it. It's hard to sit down and actually do it. It takes me ages. But I've done one for you today. Sunday, it's a nice sunny Sunday. I've done the editing of all the jobs. This is just the talking bit I had at the end. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I've mainly been doing Instagram. I've kind of fell out of love with Twitter. It's all right, but it's just same old on there. So Instagram, I've really been enjoying that. Done a lot of stuff on there which I call 60-second fault finding videos that are really popular, trying to give a bit of information on fault finding. Get loads of messages, how are you so good at fault finding? I'm not. I just work on so many different boilers. I see the same faults. A lot of boilers have a common fault. Once you've done one, you learn, and then the next time you go and look at that boiler, you think, oh, I wonder if it's what was wrong with the last one, and you know, it goes from there. So you can do training courses. Manufacturers' training courses are really good if you want to do the ones that on the ones you fit. So if you're fitting Worcester Bosch boilers, go and do a Worcester training course. You'll learn how that boiler works. As I've always said, fitting them's easy. Knowing what's wrong with them and how to fix them is a different ball game. So yeah, all experience, but if I can pass on any of that experience through these little videos, not had too many people moaning about showing, you know, how to do the job, because I try and keep it vague. You know, you got to have some background knowledge. So having said that, the 60-second fault finding videos that I was dropping into YouTube, what I'm going to do is put them in here, but get rid of the voiceover I did for Instagram, because I have to go really fast in 60 seconds, and slow it down a bit to try and explain a little bit more, maybe not talk so fast. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. And yeah, I've just been filming jobs. I've got loads of jobs on my phone to upload, so hopefully a decent variation of jobs on this video for you. What else can I say? What else have I been doing? Just been really busy, really. Not that many installs. I'll chuck a couple of jobs I've done. You've probably seen them if you follow me on Instagram. I'll drop them in here so you can see what I've been up to. Been to a couple of tool fairs. Been doing the November stuff. Trying to get people to sign up against tool theft. Turns out nobody cares. So the best advice I can give you is stick some extra locks on your van. Mark your kit. If you don't mark your tools and they get robbed, you're never getting them back. If they find them and you've not written your name on them, you're not going to get them, because possession is 9/10 of the law. If I steal all your tools and you say they're my tools and you can't prove it, I'm keeping them. So it seems backwards, but that's the way it is. I've tried to get people to sign it. We've got about 40,000 signatures out of the 100,000 we need. I don't know how to get any more people to sign. I've been on local radio, I've been on the local news. It don't make a difference. People don't really care. I think until we stop going out to fix people's boilers because we've got no kit or no van to do it, that's the only way people are going to stand up and listen. If you look on the government website, petitions, like there was one at Christmas, I might have said this, I might be repeating myself, but there was one at Christmas about a Christmas advert being banned. It got like 1 million signatures in a couple of days, and we can't get 100,000 people to sign a petition to stop our tools being stolen out of our van. They're cutting holes in the doors, in the roofs. It's unbelievable. Nobody cares about us. Sorry to put down on it, but I couldn't believe that and people didn't sign it. So let's crack on with the video. Hopefully I will keep these a bit more regular than the sort of 2-month gap that we've had. We'll see. Be nice to get a channel sponsor to give me the incentive to do more. I don't think I'm going to get that. A company did offer me a kind of sponsorship where they would send me tools out if I told you to buy the tools from their website. I don't want to do that. I just want to do what I'm doing, and if a company wants to have their name at the top of it, I'm not going to tell people to buy stuff from certain places or tell people something's good when it's not. So anyway, enough of that. Enjoy the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the comments if I get time to reply to any of them. Okay, the first job. This was to replace an expansion vessel on this Worcester 25SI Compact. Now, I don't know, I've never done one of these before where I've not took the boiler off the wall or took the flue out to be able to get that vessel out from the back. But I started this job at about 4:30 in the afternoon. I was meant to get here at 1 and I was really late. So I just thought, is there any way I can get this expansion vessel out without taking the boiler off the wall or taking the flue out, because the flue was well and truly cemented into that wall. And I managed to get it out. And the way I did it was cut this bracket off the side. When I say cut it, I drilled the 2 rivets that were holding it in place. And all that bracket does is it holds onto one side of the expansion vessel to keep it in place. There's a screw at the top, there's another one of these brackets at the other side. Now, I probably wouldn't have done this if the boiler was still in warranty, but the boiler's out of warranty, the customer's paying me privately, and this bracket really, I can't see, does anything other than hold this expansion vessel in place. So, managed to get it out the side, pulled it out, and then we can, the same way we've got the old one out, push the new one in from the side, and it worked a treat. So I thought it was worth showing you guys that it can be done if you don't fancy taking the boiler off the wall. And then we just pop that back in place and then put a couple of self-tappers through there. Job done really. I'm not sure what a warranty engineer or Worcester Bosch would think of this, but I can't see it being a problem. It's not affected the integrity of the appliance. It's not doing anything wrong. So there we can see it all filled back up. It took me about 25 minutes start to finish on a job that could have took a lot longer, so worth knowing. Right, I've just been called out to a leaking toilet and taken the pan and cistern off, and the system was coupled to the pan with these. So we've got a rubber washer on there, which was the other side of the cistern, came through, and then underneath had this on. So that was the whole mechanism attaching the cistern and the pan together. So it's relying on the nut underneath here pulling this down tight enough for this washer to make a seal. So it's not good enough, got rid of them, put these metal ones in. So the way we do it, I've got this is my Bot Smart Van organiser box. So basically we want one of these, metal washer. This is going to be painful watching me do this with one hand. So I've got metal washer there, and then we've got one of these domed, if I can find one, domed rubbers there. So that's going in first. Okay, so that's going inside the toilet. I've got to find the hole at the bottom there. Okay, so that's through, and then we want a flat rubber. Flat metal. And a little nut on there. and then we tighten that up and get this started. So we tighten that up like this one, so now that will be, when that's fully tightened, watertight, holding the water in there no matter what the tension from the underside of here to hold it down. And that's better than that relying on the tightness of this, because things that are made of plastic, they move, temperature change, just will undo themselves and then they'll start leaking, whereas this will be nice and solid and it shouldn't leak again. So I'm going to put this all back together and then test it. Okay, so there's the two metal coming through. Then we've got another domed rubber, plastic flat, and a plastic nut. So I'll put them on and hopefully that will fix the leak, cure the problem. So this is just a quick look at my toilet repair kit. These are the sorting boxes you can get from Bot Smart Van. So in here it's just mainly a toilet maintenance kit. So we've got nuts and washers, flush handle links, siphon washers. These are for the ideal siphons. Different ball valve washers from all the different types. Nuts and bolts, fibre washers, flow restrictors, wing nuts, normal nuts, metal washers, rubber washers. Pretty much anything and everything I need when I'm repairing a toilet, I'll just grab this box off the van. And like I said, I've just made it up myself from spare parts and things that I've not used. This job is from the letting agency. Tenants called and said that the radiators are falling off the wall. So there's two radiators to do in this property, and you can see there the plugs have pulled out. They've not used proper plasterboard fixings and they've just pulled out the wall. So I've not used these before, but I've got these Grippit fixings. They've started selling them in City Plumbing. I'm going to try them out and see if they're any good, basically. So I don't normally like plastic pipe, but the plastic pipe on this enabled me to just drop that radiator and sort of balance it on the floor, which has made my life on this job a lot easier. Not had to drain it down or anything. So ordinarily on a job like this, I'd take the brackets off, take the radiator out of the way and remark it probably to the left or to the right, or send it up or down slightly to get a better fixing in the wall. And I'd use some brolly fixers or core fixes depending on how heavy the radiator was. Now this job, they said to me, if you can do it for less than 100 quid plus the VAT, then just go ahead. So as the bottom screws haven't pulled out the wall, I'm just going to be replacing the top ones, and like I said, using these Grippit fixings. So the idea is they've got these little, well not little, but these metal wings on the back. So you need to drill a 20mm hole, pop the Grippit fixing or the pod into the wall, and then with a flat blade screwdriver you turn the middle bit and the wings pop out either side. And then when you tighten it up, they pull towards the wall and grab onto the plasterboard. Now looking at them, you wouldn't think they could, you know, hold that much stuff, but if you look on the pack, suitable to hold 93 kilograms just from those little wings. Crazy. So I've sped this up because there's not that much you can say about it, but basically drill your 20mm hole in the wall, pop your fixing in, excuse the non-use of a hammer, what a cowboy. Turn the middle section and then just drive your screw in, and that pulls those little wings back until they're tight against the plasterboard. And that's pretty much it, easy as that. And then I just had to rehang the radiator. Job done really. I thought they were really good actually. I don't know why I've not wanted to use them before. Maybe the idea of drilling a 20mm hole, but yeah, really secure, really quick. I got called out to this job because they rang me and said that the heating is on even when they don't want it on. So the first thing I want to check is if I've actually got a switch live. So we can see there I've got 240 volts on that switch live, which is what's telling the boiler it needs to fire up. That's all the boiler knows. If it gets voltage on there, it fires up. So if we look at the program, you can see there that the lights aren't on. Now, any journey starts at the fuse spur, then goes to the programmer, and I normally fault find in that way. But sometimes you will just know through experience what it's going to be, and straight away I thought it's going to be the 2-port, 3-port valve. So this is sort of starting at the end, because from that valve, the next stop is the boiler, which we know we've got 240 volts on. So looking at these wires, the grey is the permanent live to the valve, because the valve's got a little circuit board inside it that always has 240 volts on it for when it needs to open the motor. The yellow cable there, which connects onto the brown, is from the room stat. So if we had 240 volts on that yellow going to the brown, that would open the valve via the synchron motor, and then the circuit board inside the valve puts the 240 volts onto the switch live, which is the orange, which goes back down to the boiler, which is that brown wire downstairs. Now you can see there we've got the 240 volts on the orange switch live, but we've not got it on the brown. So we know the programmer isn't sending voltage to the room stat. The room stat isn't sending voltage to the 2-port to open it. It's actually the 2-port that's at fault, because the grey wire, which is the permanent live, is putting that onto the orange wire, which is the switch live. When I removed the orange, you can see there we've lost the 240 down at the boiler, and that's how we diagnose that it's the valve that's at fault. So I've got this rigid power clear drain cleaner. Now, I've never used one of these before, and normally I will pass out my drainage work to a local guy, Petro, and he does it because he's got all the kit. But I've been thinking about getting one of these for a while. I wasn't sure how they work. Bit scared of it, to be honest. Thought this thing would get stuck, shoots out too fast. I don't know why, but I've got this job, and basically I've already put in about 3 hours on it, and acid's not done it, wet vac's not done it, plunging it certainly hasn't done it. So rather than not get paid for the time I've already spent there, I've said that I will get this sorted, and I'm hopefully going to use this to do it. So yeah, never used one before. You get these bits of it. This is the thing. I've had a quick play with it. This is the thing you press to spin it, and then this thing here is the thing you use to send it forwards and backwards. So yeah, I'm going to do this job with it. Hopefully I get on alright with it, and then what I might do is make a YouTube video specifically on this, but we'll see. So this is another 60-second fault finding video that I've dragged out a bit. So basically this one video was to show you how I use a spark plug HT tester to give me a quick visual indication that a boiler's sparking on fault finding. But to do it the proper way, we're going to start at the board. Now what we need is, and I've got this figure from the Baxi manual, we need to know that the circuit board's doing its job. So that's the first thing. The circuit board sends power to the ignition generator, or the spark generator. So from the board we need plus 100 volts DC. So using the multimeter at the point of ignition, we can record to see what we're getting, and you can see there we're getting 157 volts. So what that's proving is that it's not a circuit board issue. The circuit board is sending the correct power. The circuit board is doing its job. So the next thing we need to check is if that spark generator is actually generating a spark and sending it to the ignition. So before we test that, we want to check the resistance through this cable. The reason we do that is to check that there's no breakages, there's no damage to that cable, because if there was, the spark generator could be sending the spark, but it's not getting through the lead. So we've proved there we've got resistance through the lead. You can find the figure, the exact existence, either in your manual or by ringing technical. So this is the kit, this is the HT lead tester. So all this does is it plugs onto your ignition electrode, and then you plug your HT lead onto it. And what it will do is it will show you if the spark generator is sending a spark, because it will light up. Now it won't tell you if it's the correct spark, the right amount of spark, but it will tell you if it is sparking. You can see there you've got a visual light to show you if the spark is actually getting there. If it wasn't lighting up, then we'd look at the spark generator being a fault. Because it is, then we go, and the next step to test is the gap between the ignition electrodes. We're either not going to be getting a spark there because they're broken for whatever reason, or the gap between the two could be too great, so it won't spark between, or the gap would be just enough that it's sparking, but that spark isn't the correct temperature then to ignite the gas. This is just a basic combi swap I did. Baxi 600, really loving these boilers at the minute. You'll notice there's a lot of pipes for a combi. The reason is the heating pipes came from above, as did the gas, and the hot and cold came from below, as with the PRV and the condense pipe. Now I did buy a MagnaClean Atom because I was hoping to put the filter above the boiler and take the heating pipes up, but there just wasn't enough room, so I ended up bringing them down anyway. And then just to make it look something of a job, I brought them all down sort of level with the hot and cold. A few fancy bends. Yeah, I was quite pleased with this job in the end. It only took me a day and I had a lot of fun, so that's the main thing. But yeah, slightly more pipes than you expect to see on your average bread and butter combi swap. So I do a lot of heat only boiler swaps, and it's sometimes a struggle to get the filters in, and sometimes you've got to cross the pipes over. But you can see here it's quite tight. It's too tight for an M&F to get me straight down, and it's too tight to get a bend in. Ideally I would like to bend that, but it was just a bit too tight to get a fitting on. So the filters I like to use are the AD. This one's the Plumber Centre brand, own brand, that's made by AD. So on this job, because it was really tight, I've got all three, and I was going to see which one fit best. Now the Atom, which is the AD one there, comes with a slip socket, but it's actually not the smallest cutout of the pipe. The Plumber Centre one is. So you can see there with the Atom, it gets me too close to really do anything. Now when I posted this video on social media, you see there the gap with the Plumber Centre one's a lot more. You've got a lot more play. Someone said you should have used some soldered 45s. Well, I don't keep them on the van, and I never really think about using them because I normally just pull bends, but they would have been ideal for this job. But in the end, what I ended up doing was using the MagnaClean Micro 2 and just offsetting it slightly. This is the finished picture of what I did. Now, it don't look amazing, it don't look too bad, but what I think is getting a filter on is better than not getting a filter on, no matter what it looks like. So that was the finished job. Right, this tool, pipe cleaning tool, a chap contacted me on Instagram, asked me if he could send it me to do a little demo on. So basically it's a wire brush cleaner for cleaning copper pipe, but one that you can easily pop into your cordless via the bit adapter. And it works, it's really good. I did a little video on it, stuck it on Instagram, it was really popular. I think a lot of people have placed orders for them. I think the guy said for the set it was about 20 quid, 15 quid I think for the set. Don't quote me on that. Now I did try it on painted pipe. It will strip emulsion paint off easily, but gloss paint it doesn't even touch it. So it's got its uses. It's not a game changer, but it's handy if you're doing a lot of pipe work to quickly clean your ends before you solder them. What's up guys, just a quick video to show you some fault finding using a multimeter. So we're going to be testing this flow turbine on a Worcester Bosch. Now this is a Hall effect sensor, which is basically a magnet that spins inside. We're on the 24 volt side of the board, and we're going to be testing the black, yellow and red cables there using the DC setting on a multimeter. So the first test we're going to do is across the red and the black, and we're looking for 5 volts DC. If we're getting 5, we know that the board is doing its job and sending 5 volts. If we're not getting 5, we know the board is at fault and it's a replacement board. So we're getting 5 volts there. We've proved that the board's good. Then we test across the black and the yellow. Now, depending on where the magnet is sitting inside the flow turbine, we're either going to get 0 volts DC or we're going to get 5. When you open a tap, the magnet starts spinning and you'll get a reading, or you should get a reading of 2.5 volts DC, which is the halfway point between 0 and 5 because the magnet is spinning round. And there we are proving that the flow turbine is working okay. So this is a video I did for Instagram. Since I got this Milwaukee pipe cutter, apart from the time I cut for a live pipe, it's been an absolutely brilliant tool. I think it was 120 quid from Plumber Centre, and I use it all the time. A few people asked me about the cutting wheel maintenance on it, whether it was tricky, so I thought I'd give it a go, and it was actually dead easy. So you can see there we had a circlip holding that pin in that went through the wheel, and it's got these sort of movable arms that hold the mechanism in place. So all you do is you pop your new wheel in, and the bar goes back in, and then the trickiest thing really is popping that circlip back on, pushing it in, because it moves a bit. You can see there it goes in, but that's pretty much it. So dead easy to swap. You can buy the cutting wheels for about, I think it was 15 quid for 2. You do get 1 in the box when you buy the machine. And then while I was doing that, I thought I'd give it a clean, because it does get a bit of crap on it. It gets wet quite a bit, especially if you're cutting through live pipes. It gets a lot of paint on it. So basically just some WD-40, a good old wire brush, and really just giving it a good clean to look after it. And then afterwards made sure to sort of just dry it off, clean it up. But yeah, if you've not got one, I mean, it is a luxury, but I do use it all the time. It's not great for getting into really tight spots, but if you're cutting a lot of copper, it is a godsend. Really, really good bit of kit. Definitely worth thinking about getting one. Now, this job was a bit of a strange one. I got called out to this on a Saturday because there was a leak coming through the ceiling, and then they informed me that Gledhill had been out. The landlord had called Gledhill Direct the day before, no, 2 days before on the Thursday, and they'd replaced a pump on this. And then the tenant had come home from a night shift or whatever and found a leak through the ceiling. So I was called out to check out because they couldn't get Gledhill out on a Saturday. And this is what I found. You can see there the pump on the right. We've got LSX smeared all over the pump valves, and then the top valve is wrapped tight in PTFE. So I'm guessing the top one was leaking and someone's put LSX on it and wrapped it in tape, hoping to stop it leaking. But it's crazy. If you do a job and something's weeping, don't try and botch it, don't try and temporary fix it. The best thing you can do is just be honest with the customer and say, this pump valve is leaking. I've not got one on the van. It's, I don't know, 6 o'clock on a Thursday night. I can't go and fetch one. I'm going to have to leave this off and come back the next day. Putting LSX round and tape and hoping for the best is not an option. And when I saw this, now at the time, I couldn't believe it, and I just put it straight onto Twitter, but I should have thought about it because it's not really on to name and shame people. But I went straight onto Twitter and I said, I can't believe a Gledhill engineer's left it like this. Would you leave it like this? Obviously, everyone said no. Now, from that, Gledhill actually rang me up. The head of their servicing team or whatever rang me up, and he actually thanked me and said, thank you for pointing this out to us, because they told their engineers after seeing this video that whatever you do, leave it how you would want someone to find it, because you don't know the next person that's going to work on that. And unfortunately for this guy, it was me, and I put it straight onto social media. But you know, fair play to Gledhill. They said that they've had additional training and they've been told don't leave anything you think could leak, because yeah, the lady came home to this and it's done quite a lot of damage. So just something to be aware of. Whatever job you're doing, whether you're fitting a boiler, whatever you're working on, do it to the best of your ability. And if it is something that's gone wrong and is leaking, don't chance it, don't leave it. Just isolate it and be honest with the customer. This is a Potterton Suprema. Now, you may or may not know, these boilers had a big issue with the circuit boards, and you probably won't find that many that are still on their original circuit board. When you buy a new circuit board for these, it comes in this whole metal case. You get the whole thing, and then you have to run the wires to the component parts like the fan, the ignition electrode, the temperature sensors. Everything comes from this box. When you swap them, they're universal, so the sticker comes blank. Now you can see here this one's been filled in by the engineer who swapped it. You won't find many that have been filled in. So the reason I'm including this in is because if you do get this job where you have to swap a circuit board, make life better for the next engineer and for everyone by just taking the time to fill in the sticker. This could be a Suprema 50, 80, but I know straight away it's a 30 because the engineers took time to fill it in properly. What's up guys, it's PB, I'm with Andy Cam. Say hello Andy.
Hello Andy.
We're lucky enough to be at Grippit today. We're looking at press tools and press fittings. If you don't know what they are, press fitting is a captive O-ring inside a fitting. You pop your pipe inside there, and then you need something like this, which is a press tool. So your fitting goes inside the jaw like that into the guide, and then what you need to do is pull the trigger, and what that's doing is that's squeezing that O-ring down, really gripping it onto the pipe. Now the benefit of these is no hot works, it's a lot faster, but the downside is once you've crimped it, you're never going to get that off. Andy, can I have the socket please, mate? You doing it again?